I'm gonna try this again. Take two. Hey YouTube. So I did this a second ago, but I have on my hospital bracelet on my other hand because I was recording with this hand, and you can see all my information on the other hand, and I can't find scissors right now to cut off the darn thing, and I can't get it off. So I am going to record this again. It is 40 weeks. Here's my belly. I'm sitting. I'm not gonna get up. I mean, it's a belly. I think y'all have seen my bellies enough by now. But so I went in today for a 40-week midwifery appointment. So that is the update that I'm giving y'all now that we are at this point in pregnancy. They technically have me as 40 weeks tomorrow being my due date. But all my stuff was today, and I don't ever argue with them when they give me an extra day, because that extra day would have been nice. I can hear all of my neighbors' dogs going crazy over this weather. Can y'all hear that? You know, animals can pick up on all of it. So, what was I saying? Oh, Oakland came, my 7th baby came at 42 weeks and 1 day. So that 1 day can make a difference. So I'm like, yeah, y'all keep that date. You go with May 4th. I am good with that. So anyways, I went in for my appointment and we addressed a few, normal things. My fundal height was 39, which I think is the same thing that it was last week. Normally mine is, 2 to 3 above my gestational week. So while this is completely normal, it's just smaller than my normal per se. But with that said, I feel exceptionally small. My belly just feels tiny. Not the rest of me, like my face, my arms, my legs are huge. My legs and my butt get ginormous every pregnancy. Again, that's my normal. But my belly specifically feels the tiniest it's ever been out of all 8 kids. And with this baby potentially having a syndrome, even though they're like, you can give birth at home, it shouldn't have any bearing on your birth at all. You just naturally as a mom, you worry. I have anxiety, so I worry a little bit more, but, and I was doing great with that until recently. And then, around February, I noticed I don't feel like I've grown. I feel like my belly as of lately is actually shrinking. And I didn't say any of that out loud because you don't want to say it into existence. I'm sure that sounds really silly to some people, but it's true. Oh, my arm is getting heavy. I love double chins and pregnancies. So beautiful. But I can hear something going on outside. Sorry. Trying to be mindful of the weather because I am home alone with the kids. So I didn't say anything. I didn't even say anything to Joel because you just don't always want to say things, and worry for no reason. Somebody potentially, more notifications popping up. But he said something the other day and I was like, so it's not just me. I'm not the only one who is seeing myself as smaller than usual. So of course I said something. Then I was like, good, I'm not good, but I'm glad it's not just me. I'm not crazy. It's not just my anxiety that is overcoming me. So, I told him all my thoughts and feelings, and he was like, no, you're definitely smaller. And I was like, okay. Do you feel like, I just ate, sorry. I was like, do you feel like I'm getting smaller or that I'm just not as big? And again, he had the same thoughts and feelings. So I was like, okay, oh, food is not sitting well at the moment. That was close. It's in my throat. It's trying to come back up. Fun stuff. Let me sit up a little bit more upright here. Oh, the joys of pregnancy. So I mentioned it to the midwives because, it's better safe than sorry. And I don't care if it is just my anxiety. I would rather know for certain that he's okay. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you home birth. And some people have this perspective of you're selfish for home birthing and it's all about your wants. And trust me, I've heard it all over the decade plus. But that's actually not the case. A lot of people are just very empowered and they know their bodies and, you know, XYZ. And I feel like I tend to fall quite a bit into those categories. I don't see pregnancy as a, you know, it's not an illness. And you don't need to jump at every little thing. And by you, I mean me. You know, and just, oh goodness, you know, this happened, so I need to, you know, do something extreme. That's just, I'm not, and it's not pregnancy. That's just how I am with life in general. If I have a headache, I don't just immediately go take Tylenol. It's not me. So, but with that said, like, it's also not just me right now. So, I go to these appointments. I go to as many appointments as I can. Right now, I'm going to all of them. I did take a little bit of a break when they all had their vaccines. It just wasn't something I was comfortable being around, to each their own. But, you know, I go to these appointments because I am home birthing. I want to know that my baby is okay. I want to know that my baby is safe. I want to be positive that I am in a safe environment for my baby. And if this, you know, my home is not that place, then I wouldn't give birth here. Like, I would go to the hospital and I would do whatever it is that I needed to do, because at the end of the day, that is what is more important for him, not for me. You know, would that be hard on me? I mean, I think we can all agree, anybody who has watched my videos knows that it would wreck me. Like, I would be devastated, but at the same time, it's not just me, and that I'm okay with. So, you know, it's a little bit of feelings of all over the place, but obviously I don't pull rank, and I shouldn't pull rank. My emotions should not ever come before the livelihood of my baby. So with that said, I always bring up fears and concerns at my appointments. I don't tend to keep those things to myself. Matter of fact, I don't ever keep those things to myself because I do have anxiety and I do worry. So I addressed it, and the midwife she asked if she could do a cervical check to see if he is engaged, and if that's why I like the fundals, you know, not really going up, and I am not looking as big or feeling as big as I was with the other children. And I was like, that's fine, but, you know, I don't think he's engaged, and I don't think that's the issue. I mean, I wish that was true, but I don't think that's the issue. So she did her cervical exam, and I was right in that aspect. For what it's worth, I'm only 2 centimeters. So, which wasn't the purpose in checking, but since she was there, you know. So yeah, so he's not engaged, and I guess he's just small. So we were, you know, like, maybe it's fluid levels. So she asked if she could do an ultrasound, and of course I said that was fine. So she did not get, you know, we weren't able to see the pockets, the fluid pockets really well. Sorry, more notifications. And, you know, she's not an expert in that. So she asked if I would mind going over to the OB and doing an NSTBPP, which I was already going to do next week because of my own medical conditions. So I was like, that's fine. You know, I've done them every pregnancy at least once or twice, so not an issue. And again, I would rather be safe than sorry. So we, you know, just kind of discussed a few options of potential low fluid and whatnot, and what that would mean, which, you know, is an induction for those who don't know. But so I had my husband, I can hear the kids laughing really loud. I had my husband drive me over there. Our vehicle's too big for the parking garage, so he has to drive me to my appointments, because otherwise I have to park a mile away and walk. And again, bad weather, not a good idea. So he came and picked me up and then drove me over to the other building and did the NST. Baby was moving. He does have decreased movements, but it's not like he's not moving. Like, he's moving. But, you know, some of my concerns were that, you know, are we just so far along now in pregnancy that his movements are decreasing? Because that's normal to an extent. Or are they decreasing because there's something else? You know, like, do we look at each thing individually, or do we see the picture collectively as a whole? So I need to know what all we're working with, for me to know what I'm comfortable with, and for them to know what is best for the baby. This whole him having a potential syndrome shouldn't come into play, but again, my anxiety always brings it up, and always ask, well, are we sure that, there's no bearing of his potential syndrome and what's potentially going on? And again, I'm told no, but it's a spectrum. You just don't really know. So the NST was good. He was moving. Heart rate was great. Just everything was fine. So I didn't expect anything different. The whole purpose in going over there was to check the fluid to begin with. So they had me switch rooms, and then I went to do my BPP, and he was a little lazy, which is not a surprise. Like I said, decreased movement, and I think he's just a lazy baby to begin with. So he did all of the things that he's supposed to do. It just took him a little bit of extra time. And his measurements were dated back 3 weeks, basically across the board. I think the overall measurement for him for dating purposes was like 37 weeks and 4 days, with like a due date of like May 20th. Thing is for those who don't know, you can't go by your end of pregnancy dating stuff. It's way off. Normally mine's like a lot more ahead than what it actually is, not really behind like today, but there's no way our dates are off. So and we had enough early ultrasounds to know that that also confirms that they were not off. I think somebody's coming in. Yes, ma'am. Your hair. You want to show YouTube? No. Pace walked in. She just took some braids out of her hair. So you distracted me with all your prettiness. What was I saying?
I don't know.
Me either. Oh, the dating. So, like I said, he feels small, and he was measuring a lot smaller as well. There's a lot of people who are guessing that this baby would be like 8 to 10 pounds. And I'm like, nah, I'm thinking like 6 to 7. So the overall measurement was 7 pounds, 4 ounces. But let me tell y'all, like, that has never came close to being true with any of my babies. Normally, like in due date groups, because I've been in enough, it's usually overshot, like overkill by a big time, by a lot. Whatever everybody else is getting, their babies are like 2 to 3 pounds less than. Whereas with me, not awkwardly, but oddly enough, my babies are usually 1 to 3 pounds over what it estimates. But I don't think that's true this time. I think that it's actually pretty spot on. And if anything, it's maybe even overshooting his weight based on what I can feel in comparison to the babies I've had before. So only time will tell. We don't know until he's here. So with that said, his fluid was, did you need something else? No, just being nosy. That's fine. You're just like right there. So I want to make sure that I wasn't like neglecting you or something. Okay. Sorry. Moving on. His fluid level was at an 8. So it's a little bit better than what, they were getting in the midwife office, but it's within the normal range. It's just also kind of low. So I normally go in at 41 weeks for another NST BPP, which is non-stress test and biophysical profile. But with everything as a whole, this pregnancy.
Yeah, it's stormy.
Is that wind?
Yeah, wind, rain, and thunder, and lightning.
It almost sounds kind of like hell. No?
I don't see any.
Weather's getting creepy. With everything, it's just, they want me back in on Friday instead of next week. check the fluid levels. You know, as an MFM person's recommendations, it's always going to be the same thing. They would rather keep me admitted to the hospital. Sorry, Joel came in and he had to talk to me for a second, so I actually had to stop the video. So, you know, I think what I was saying was just that, you know, their recommendations are always to, with everything collectively as a whole, it would just be better to induce. And that's just like from the things that I was telling them, from the things that they were seeing, from my medical, mostly from my medical past. With me having like clotting disorders, you know, the way I always explain it is like your placenta can just crap out. It does not typically last as long as it does for other women. But with that said, and I was telling Joel when he asked me how I felt about all of it, it was just like, you know, I feel like when that happens, I always go into labor. I feel like my body knows and it comprehends and it respects that, and I go into labor. That's why I've had some babies at 37 weeks. And when Emerson came at 41 weeks and 3 days, you know, her placenta was looking a little rough. Whereas I had Oakland who came, oh, that's crooked. Remind me to fix that. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Oh yeah, the middle one.
Yeah, it's like super crooked. It's bugging me. Oakland came at 42 weeks and 1 day, which is post dates. That's when most people, regardless of clotting disorders, would see a crappy placenta. You know, you would see some calcification and some clotting and just some other things that are going on. But his placenta, speaking of his placenta, right there, his looked great. I mean, it was, I don't know if you can tell, but like it's huge. It's so much bigger. I can't point, but the one that's that way, there you go. That one is Kaysen's. And that one up there is Jameson's. So all three of the boys are the top ones. So if you paid attention by chance to the sizing of their placentas, you can tell that like Oakland's was huge. It was perfect. It was beautiful. There was nothing wrong with it. And I mean, so my body's kind of all over the place, which again, I feel like my body understands what it needs and does what it needs when it needs to, which is why it's also all over the place. So part of me is also like, well, you know, if my placenta is going to crap out, like my body is going to do what it needs to do when it needs to do it. But it's also not necessarily a risk worth taking either. So we agreed I'd come back in this Friday at 41 weeks or 40 weeks. And was that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days, and do another NST-BPP and check the fluid levels.
How do you say that? NST-BPP?
NST-BPP. Because I've said it for so many years. She's over here talking. I've got baby moving. See if I can get it. I got like something, feels like a knee. Nice and bony moving. Come back in and check the fluid levels. And do you mind putting that up for me? I got gum that's itching my belly, these little wrappers. And see what his fluid is like. And then we'll go from there. I mean, just one appointment at a time and reevaluate the situation as a whole. If I need to stay that Friday and have a hospital birth and be induced, then it is what it is. And I will have to give up my birth affirmations and my birth pool and some more birth affirmations and my birth supplies and more birth supplies. So, you know, birth will look a little different. And like I said, you know, if it's something that I need to do, then it's something I need to do. And I will process my own crap before, then eventually later after the fact, I don't know. But we'll cross that bridge if we need to, when we need to. And most importantly is just making sure that this little love bug is safe and sound. So it's a long update, y'all. I'm sorry. And if you're still here, whew, I don't know how you do it because I have a hard time sitting through YouTube videos myself. I usually just listen to it while I'm getting ready. But I think that sums up everything. So if y'all don't hear from me, then probably had a baby. I don't know. I'm hoping to keep y'all updated. We'll see. Sometimes I just get tired, and yeah, it's a lot of work putting something on YouTube nowadays. My plate is full. My kids keep me busy. We got a lot going on. Kaysen's about to turn 12 in exactly 14 days, 2 weeks from now. So we've got birthday plans, and I'm excited. We have a lot going on. A lot of fun stuff going on. So, and apparently Mother's Day is this weekend. I have to go buy my mom something. Yeah, it's Mother's Day.
This weekend?
That's what I'm told. I need to look it up. I went to my midwife appointment, and she was like, "What are y'all doing for Mother's Day this week?" And I was like, "It's Mother's Day this weekend." Sorry, Mom, if you're watching. I swear I love you. I didn't think about that until right now. So, yeah, I might need to go to the store tonight and send her something because she's not local. So, yeah, so hopefully y'all will hear from me again, and not with a baby, because adduction's not, I don't want to do it. I hope that he's nice and safe and healthy, and just stays put for a while if he needs to. And if he doesn't need to, then we'll get him out. So bye, YouTube. Do you want to say bye? Come here. Come here. Why are you going to get shy now? She's never shy. Look at this hair. She had it braided, and it was like in, what do you call that? Was it like a Dutch braid? Or did y'all do French braids? Like
French.
two? You did two? Yeah. So she had 2 French braids, and she just took them out. There you go. A big girl. This one's got a birthday coming up soon too. The Big 10, the double digits. Double digits. All right. Bye, YouTube. Say bye. 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 What's that noise?
The alarm. I don't know.
Is it the city alarm?
Yeah.
Tornado watch. Gotta go, y'all.